Subnautica has these little cuties called hoverfish. And oh my... These little guys, just look at them! Look at them! They're so... Do I have on screen? Am I going to show like a full screenshot? I don't know. Here's a hoverfish PNG. Look at him, he's so cute! So I grabbed one and decided, this little guy is coming on an adventure with me. Never mind the fact that I kind of ate most of his buddies and friends and other fishes around him. He was cute, so he gets to live. That's my justification for not eating him. He was cute. Don't know if that's going to hold up in space court. However, from that moment forward, I kept him in my pocket until I could build an aquarium for him, where I then put him. Whenever I returned to the base, I would just stand in front of the aquarium and smile at him. Sometimes chat with him, which I get. That's silly. It's a video game. It can't hear you. You're talking to a screen, but also at the same time, technically right now, I'm talking to a screen, I'm talking to my camera, and, you know, you're watching me for a screen, so is it really any different than that? That was part of my script. I kind of thought about that. Also thinking about the subject is the fact that, like, I have toys. These are inanimate objects that I've formed bonds with, which is interesting. What is this correlation? Huh. But back to Subnautica. I could have paused the game at any time and actually gone and talk to a real person. But instead, I was talking to this line of code on the screen that made up what was known as the hoverfish. Which led to every time I returned to the base, the first thing I would do is go and say hi to him and then say bye before I left. I think this is because even though he is just lines of code that has no concept of sentience, he was experiencing the same world as me. He understood what I was talking about. If you go and talk to a real person in the real world about Subnautica who's never played the game, they have no idea what you're talking about. You can be like, oh, okay, right, the other day I was playing Subnautica and I was going through the water and I was going towards the crash ship and it was amazing, but then there was the giant, like, Leviathan, and he's surrounded with freaking terrifying. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to die, but I managed to dodge out of the way and, like, curve around and get onto the spaceship, and it was amazing! And what's their response going to be? Cool. That's neat. But telling this to my little hover buddy friend, he understands. To an extent. Hey there, buddy! So today I went out on the Seamoth to the area over there and managed to find a wreck. It was great. But as I left, there was a Reaper Leviathan outside. It was terrifying. My life flashed before my eyes. You ever encountered one? To me, they seem massive, but to you, they must seem gargantuan. If I was doing a base move, I would have him in my pocket the entire time until I was completely moved in, because he was my only friend on the planet. I mean, yeah, I know later on in the game you get the cuttlefish, but I'll have more to say about that later on in the video. But my little buddy was so much cuter and had been with me since day one. This is a commonly spawning fish where you can find dozens upon dozens of them throughout the game and in the shallows. So why did I form such a bond with this essentially form of sustenance? I talk about isolation in Subnautica a lot more in a video discussing isolation in horror games, which if you haven't seen yet, you can hit the little eye in the corner here to go watch, but I'd recommend watching this video first because it's probably better. This way, I think. It's here, yeah? But to quickly recap, Subnautica places you in an unknown situation where your life is in danger, where you have no supplies after having to flee to an escape pod as the ship got damaged. Unlike other games that take place on Earth, Subnautica takes place on an alien planet where you have no idea the rules of the world. If you had crash landed into the ocean on Earth, you would have known where you were to an extent, what you can eat, what you can't, what is a threat, what to do, and how to survive. And most likely, if you wait long enough, if a spaceship crashes, into the ocean, someone will come and receive it, rescue it, investigate it. They will come to this pod and, you'll be saved. However, by landing on an alien planet, suddenly you have no idea where you are. You have no idea what you can eat, what you can't. You have no idea what is a threat. You have no idea what to do, and you have no idea how to survive. You're scared, you're alone, and you're uninformed, and there is no one else coming to save you. So the fact the game early on places you in a location with these cute, friendly looking dorsal fauna, of course I made a connection to it, because it made me feel less alone on this alien planet. Especially when it looks like it's smiling. I mean, look at it. Am I still on screen? Or is this just a picture of, I don't know. Here's a semi-transparent picture of it. It's going to be here, isn't it? Like a little thing. I'll just wave my arm for no real reason. Look, I'm in a box. Oh no. And later on, the cuttlefish. Later on, the cuttlefish. That just happened. Sorry, that just happened. But once again, I'll talk more about this later when I get to the cuttlefish. The other reason I think Subnautica can get you to make that connection is because Henry had been with me since the start. Every adventure I'd been on, every hardship I'd faced, every day of searching I had done, he was there with me. Granted, later on he was in his aquarium, but for the most part, for the early part of the game, he was with me every step, and he was still with me in that situation. He was just in his aquarium, safe in the base, so I didn't have to worry about him. But I like to believe Riley told him about his day when he got back to the base. So of course, I would build a connection with this random fish. To the point, I even took him home on my rocket ship. I hope he survived. Oh god. Maybe I should have left him in the ocean. He probably couldn't survive in space. Ah. He's lines of code. I shouldn't be this upset about this. It's lines of code. He is lines of code. He is not real. He is not real. He is lines of code. And I am legitimately feeling slightly guilty about this. I should have left him in the ocean. Well, nothing I can do now.